Hey, what's up? Welcome to the channel. I'm Momo Ina, and in 2024 I moved from Germany to Nepal to be with my partner. Around these parts we embrace the chaos of daily life, find grace in all the twists and turns, of which Kathmandu has plenty. Come along with me as I celebrate the mundane, the small, and the unexpected moments in life.
हार्दिक स्वागत गर्दछौँ।
Namaste. hurt and you can't let go. It's not your fault and you don't deserve all the bad head in the hurt. I know you tried so hard. I know you've done your part. It's not fair. You did your time. How much longer will you suffer in this life? But don't give up. Just hold on tight. It'll be alright. All your life you've tried to be a good man inside. Did everything that you thought you should. Didn't seem to do you any good. I know you've tried so hard. I know you've done your part. It's not fair.
ส
side by side and through and through. No limit to what we can do. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Called us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.